Welcome to episode 64 of the Band of Gamers podcast. Well, it may be episode 64, maybe part two of episode 64. We're not quite sure because rumor has it that there was an episode 64 recorded last week, but nobody has seen it. Will it be lost to the chronicles of time? We don't know. But we're here. So this is episode 64 again, maybe? We don't know. But along with me, Greylock3491, we also have my good friend, Osiris Prime.
Hello, everybody. Maybe we'll take it up in like 5 years and play it. Lost tapes.
Well, it's just you and me again. So we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to talk about what we've been playing. I haven't played a lot. I was out of town at a trade show at Automation Fair. So I really just got some Elite Dangerous in. How about you? What have you been playing?
I didn't kind of like you for this past week. I really didn't play too much. But what I did play was same thing I was playing the week before, which was Lego Dimensions. I was playing that with my son. We kind of jumped back into that. I've been kind of collecting some more Lego figures here and there, and they just released a whole bunch more. And actually, I think they're doing another play set, like a big play set, and then which I think is the Fantastic Beasts, the Harry Potter movie, and then I think a couple other things, Sonic, and I was just looking at it. I can't remember the other one, but doing a couple more this coming week. But I had picked up the A-Team, one of my favorite TV shows back in the day, which just has B.A. Baracus and his little van, and then Doc Brown from Back to the Future with the train that he had back in Back to the Future 3 at the end of the movie. So that was pretty cool. And then I got Bart Simpson, which is from the first wave from last year, just because they had a special at Toys R Us a couple weeks ago. So it was like 3 for $25, which is a pretty good deal. Just for like the fun packs, which is kind of the lowest end figures. But so I was playing that. I had a good time with that. I kind of like to jump into that even without my son every once in a while, just to get away and just some silly fun, basically, because it's super simple. So you can't go wrong with that. And then a couple other games I've been playing. Skyrim Special Edition, still playing that, of course. Actually, I was editing some clips this past weekend, and I kind of messed up on one of them because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have my volume on. Big shock. So I kind of made me mad. So I was just like, all right, whatever. And then I did another one though. So I got a couple of those out on my YouTube. My YouTube page. So I'm still playing that, still enjoying it. Still looks great, looks gorgeous. And just kind of some things that obviously it's familiar because I played it before, but other things I just I'm finding things that I never saw before. So it's pretty cool. And I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago that I've been playing. Usually I used to play as a mage or a magic person, but now I'm just doing the single-handed weapon and a shield with a little bit of bow and arrow in between there. So it's a little different, a little harder, I think. Than using magic, and I kind of want to get more into the alchemy and the kind of cooking stuff that kind of buffs you up when you add that kind of the potions and all that kind of stuff. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit more. And then I've been playing not Skyrim Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and I like the game, and I think I mentioned this with the beta, and it's a little bit different now. It seems the gameplay. But there's just something about the gameplay that it's just off to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just not as smooth or like the basic mechanics is the same. You pretty much got the wall running and you can jump around. You got the different classes, just like in Black Ops 3. You got there's a few differences. Obviously, the perks and the score streaks are a little bit like turned around and they kind of mix and match stuff, but the basic core mechanics are the same, but just the feeling of it, like when you're aiming and stuff, I don't know, it just seems off to me. I'm just getting just killed, and if I can go back into Black Ops and I'm totally fine. So it's weird. I don't know if anybody else has played it. Maybe you can chime in. Maybe it's just me, but and I only played so far, and I think I mentioned this too before, the first level or mission, I guess, on the campaign, but seems okay so far. I mean, I've only played one level, but it looks gorgeous. The graphics are good, so we'll see how it plays out. And then other than that, that's pretty much it. That's all I've been playing.
So you played Advanced Warfare, you played Black Ops 3, and now you get to Infinite Warfare, and it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it just feels off. I can't explain it. It's just something with the controls that I don't know if it's the aiming or maybe I just got to play with the sensitivity a little bit more. I don't know. It's just weird. Just can't put my finger on it.
Now, as far as Lego, right? You were just talking about Lego, right? Um, is it only two player, or is it? Can it be? Can you do four player?
As far as I know, it's only two that I've seen so far. Because you usually got the little prompt on the screen saying, press start or whatever they call it now to jump in, and I only see one of those on the screen. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's only the two player. Even though, well, you know what? I'm not sure. I probably have never had more than three figures on the screen at the same time. So I don't know if you can add more because that base is pretty. I don't know if you have Lego Dimensions, but that base is pretty large, so you can put a bunch of things on there. So I don't think, like I said, I've never had more than three characters on the screen at the same time because usually I have the characters plus their vehicles, so it kind of adds up.
No, I was. I forgot I was babysitting last night, babysitting the grandkids. They're 8 and 6, soon to be 8 and 7, and we played some. They wanted to play Mario Party 10. I had 9, so we played Mario Party 9 for a while. And those mini games they get old quick. So then we moved on to Minecraft, which is a great 4-player game. So we had the three of us, and we started a brand new world, and we had to build a house, and it was funny trying to keep them focused on the task. Um, and then I restarted it with the at survival mode, easy,
Hmm.
and now we were taking out spiders and all the different creatures, skeletons, and all that. But it would be nice. I always thought it would be great if one of these Toys to Life games had 4-player. I think it would be awesome. But I know the Lego games I've bought for my grandkids have all been only 2-player. So
Yeah,
that's why I was asking about dimensions.
kind of lends itself to more, but I don't know because there's always a lot of characters on screen that you can pick through. So it's kind of weird that you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, with that said, why don't we go into news? And I want to talk about my first news story actually has to do with what you have on the. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera over to you. And underneath your name, it says, no NES Classic for me.
That's all right.
So my first news story is check out these NES Classic shortages right now. I still predict that you should not go to eBay and buy one for
Oh
$1,000.
no.
I really think Nintendo's going to ramp up production quickly and have a whole bunch more over here really, really soon because this is one of those times where if you don't grab the audience while they're in the mood for it, you're going to lose them for good. So, with that said, I'm surprised. Everybody, I mean, we knew it was going to be popular, but
Yeah.
man, it's like completely sold out, right?
Yeah, I mean, the day it came out, one of my coworkers had actually stopped at Walmart like an hour after they had opened. It wasn't a 24-hour one, and he, was talking with the clerk, and obviously they were gone at that point. And he said there was a line outside, that people, they snagged them up, and I think there was only like 6 or 7 at that store, and that's what I kept seeing in the forums. There's only 6 to 10, give or take, at each store. And I went to a couple stores, Fry's Electronics, which is an electronics store, big, kind of like Best Buy, but blown up, super huge, got all kinds of stuff. They didn't have any the same thing. They only had a few. I went to Target and they only had 6. The clerk told me. So I mean, I don't understand the shortage, to be honest with you. I hope it was a production thing. I hope they're not like just holding back and they're going to release them all this week or in the next couple of weeks for Black Friday or whatever. I don't. I just kind of weird to me that they wouldn't have at least 100, maybe 50 at the least. I mean, something that they stocked up with.
Part of me wonders if Nintendo has not been raking in the money on the Wii U. So part of me wonders if they went conservative, not knowing, what the success of it would be. And so, with the capacity to make a lot more, the initial run was kept small, and I have no idea if that's what happened or not. But
Right.
part of me thinks that, maybe they didn't know how popular it was going to be. So, but I get a feeling that before Christmas they will be on the shelves. I could be totally wrong.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, if you think about it too, with the Wii U, they've been losing money. They lose money basically on every console that they sell. So, I mean, you could be right. It was just frustrating because you wanted to get that and get home and start playing with it, and you couldn't do that unfortunately, or I couldn't do that. I'm sure some people did. And I know Amazon had orders for it. I think like a 2 p.m. I forgot. I think it was Eastern time, or 4 p.m. Eastern time, and those things like sold out right away. I got on the site. I was able to get on the site and get to the page, but you just couldn't do anything. It was just they were bogged down, so they're obviously selling out there too. Yeah.
Just like the Canadian immigration website the day after the election, man.
That's
Boom,
right.
take it down.
Take it down.
Oh,
The 505 error on that one.
Oh, I'll tell you what. That's just
But
horrible.
yeah, it was crazy though. And I kind of ranted on the CAG site a little bit. I don't know if you saw this, but you saw it on eBay, like you said, for $1,000, $400 or $500. It's just crazy. It's a shame that you got those people out there. They're the ones that are probably out there for the most part, getting it just to put it on eBay. So, but I guess it is what it is.
Well, hopefully, only rich people will make use of those scalpers or those resellers.
Yeah.
The only way the average Joe can combat that is just by not participating in that, obscene markups. You just say, yeah, I'll find something else to do with my time.
Yeah. No, I definitely wasn't gonna go to eBay. I knew that would happen. So, but yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah. The other thing that I had on my news stories, and I was out of town on business last week at the automation fair, and with the Black Friday sales. Now, I had posted up at the site, up at CAG actually, what are people looking forward to? What do you think you're going to try to pick up? I assumed in my post that none of the new games were going to be on sale. When I talk about new games, Call of Duty, Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1, Forza Horizon 3, Gears of War 4, all the big blockbusters that have come out. I know I'm forgetting some. Skyrim Legendary Edition, No Man's Sky, I'll keep going on and on and on. And I assume none of those would be on sale, but I'm actually seeing a lot of those new games on Black Friday, 50% off. Especially Walmart, I think, had the best deal. They had Rainbow Six Siege for 15. They have listed most of those released those new games at $35, and there are similar deals at Target, Best Buy, etc. BJ's. So have you seen any of those advertisements? I'm just blown away how great the game deals are on brand new games.
Yeah, no, I saw the same thing. I didn't get to look as much as I wanted to, but yeah, it is kind of crazy. There was a deal for I think it was on Dell actually, for their Friday doorbuster. That's actually only online, obviously, because I don't think they really have stores around. But it's like an Xbox One with like a couple of games, maybe 2-3 games, and maybe even an accessory or two, maybe like an extra controller. But like for like, I think like 250 maybe. I can't remember the exact amount, but I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. Why? I don't know if I don't know why they're going down with the prices this much, but I don't know. They might be hurting a little. Maybe they're not seeing the numbers like they have been in past holiday seasons.
And that brings up my third story, which you don't see in the notes because I never put it. So the surprise story, the X and usually it's DB who keys me off of this story, but don't ask me why. But did you see that the Xbox has won now for the 4th month in a row the console sales in the US over the PlayStation 4?
Yes, yeah, I did see
or in
that.
North America, I think it is. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I think it's North America. Yeah, yeah, that was. I don't know. Maybe well. I guess the PS4 Pro just came out, right? So you can't really factor that into maybe next month's or this month, I should say, November's sales will. Maybe they'll jump back up on top, but I don't know. What do you think that their chances are that they'll jump back up on top with the PS4 Pro?
Well, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to put you on the spot and say,
Oh.
Why do you think? And I know I've said this several times this year. Why do you think all of a sudden switcheroo? I mean, this started before the Xbox One S even came out, and I'm trying to understand. I don't understand why the PS4 is so popular. I mean, it's a great console. Don't get me wrong; it's a phenomenal console. And I actually think the PS4 Pro will be extremely popular, just because of all that extra horsepower, right?
Yeah.
But why do you think? Bam! this summer. It just switched. Now it's Xbox One and not PS4 that's winning in North America. Any
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? Well, there's a podcast I was listening to, and they were kind of asking the same thing, and I was thinking about this, excuse me, even before I started listening to that. But they were talking about how during the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, how obviously the 360 was pretty much doing the same thing that the PS4 was. They're just gangbusters, selling like crazy, selling like hotcakes, and then eventually, it kind of slowed down, and it did flip, kind of like the same how it is now. Um, and their reasoning for that, at least for that part with the PS3 and 360, was it was kind of I guess it was kind of saturated, like the market already. Obviously whoever wanted the 360 at that point, wanted it. So people were like, oh, you know what, let's get the PS3, and they did have a good point about getting it in the latter half of the cycle, or I guess it wasn't really latter, it's kind of mid, but you got all these great games that have already come out, and you could just knock them out and go boom 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 boom, just run through them. So I'm thinking that's kind of the same thing here, that it's they're kind of reaching their point where okay, people got the PS4s. Unfortunately there hasn't been like a whole deluge of games on first party games for that, but people are more or less happy with that, so they want to try something else. There's Xbox One. They got a whole host of games that came out, and even just this year alone, this holiday season, they've had Forza, the Gears, and what was the other one? Recore, I guess to a lesser extent, if you want to count that one in. But you got all these great games now that you can go back even just this year and previous last couple of years to go out and play, and you don't have to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 months to play something. A really good game.
And I agree. I think part of it could be that people have PS4 and they're like, well, I've had my PS4 for a few years now. Let's get an Xbox. I think part of it could be that the price broke $300 because this sale this trend started before the Xbox One S came out. So there had to be, and maybe it's just the deeper discounts. Part of me thinks that
they did have a lot of great bundles too. That's one thing
yeah.
that Xbox does good. They have a lot of good bundles, like later on.
But I'm also wondering is there a chance that it's just the people on the 360 when the Xbox, like if you played Destiny on the Xbox 360 and on the Xbox One, man, it is hard to tell any difference.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is Destiny on 360 is just gorgeous. I mean, I'm still surprised it looks so good on the 360, right? It looks great on the Xbox One. It actually looks better now on the Xbox One than at launch, in my opinion. But yeah, if games like that are going to still come out for a 360 and look gorgeous, then why upgrade? I mean, you get this massive installed base of 360s. Why upgrade? The old console's doing good, but I think what may have happened earlier this year is a lot of these companies stopped releasing 360 games.
Yeah.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what I was seeing is this is next gen only. This is current gen only. This is, we're not doing it anymore. And I think even the last Call of Duty had some serious, the graphics were way toned down to actually even get it to launch on the 360. So the last Call of Duty that was on the I don't know if it was Advanced Warfare, but there was some serious compromises to get it to run on that platform, as far as the graphics fidelity. But I mean, could that be? Could the 360 crowd finally say, "Yeah, we're not going to get anything new unless we go to the Xbox One," and that migration started? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's probably part of it too. I mean, like you mentioned, Black Ops. That was Black Ops 3. That was the one that
Okay.
they kind of took some stuff out. Actually, matter of fact, I thought there was only multiplayer that came out for the 360 and PS3. I don't think there was a campaign. So, and obviously, and then still, even with that, there's still just graphically, it didn't look as good, obviously, as the PS4 and the Xbox One. You look ahead here, and now you got Gears and you got Forza. Well, I don't know about Forza. I don't know if Forza came out in 360 or not. The newest one, Horizons 3. Yeah, I don't think so. I know Gears didn't. So you got that, and the newest Call of Duty that's not on Battlefield, and Battlefield 1. I don't think is either on the old system. So yeah, you do have all these great games, more or less, depending on what you like, coming out only for the one system. So, they're kind of left in the dust. You probably got maybe the sports franchises might still be on the old systems, usually for like a.
Yeah, those usually hang out the longest, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, you'll have some great, the Xbox Live and the indie games and stuff like that, but that's only going to get you so far. So yeah, it might be, that the tide is turning, so to speak. People want to, they want to upgrade, and like I said, there's a lot of great bundles now on Xbox One. I mentioned that the Dell one, but even when that's a Black Friday one, but even before that, there's always like the system with 2 games or a game, and you get another game free, or stuff like that. So
My bundle was great. It was 350. I got Halo 5. Oh, this is a terabyte for 350. I got the terabyte Xbox One S, 350. Halo 5, Halo Master Chief Collection. A third game, which it was some older games, but I just picked one randomly, and a $50 gift card.
nice. Oh, you know what? Something else I thought about, backwards compatibility. There's a lot of games there. I think over 250 now, maybe.
Over
Maybe
280.
280. Okay, yeah. So I mean, and obviously a lot of the big titles, and there's some smaller titles in there too. You might have your Barbies in there if you want to play. You got the Barbie games.
Wait a minute. What do you? I'm not going to grab Bobby off of the off
I'm
of the
just
wall.
not you maybe, but our listeners. But yeah, so you got.
I do have a Bobby game on CD somewhere though for the grandkids, or actually for my kids back in the day.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of which, I'm going to segue. I
Okay.
think this was so funny. I'm watching. I think it was Agents of Shield. Have you been watching that this year?
Yeah, actually, I'm catching up now. I'm like on the 5th or 6th episode right now.
All right, so this is a minor spoiler, but really minor. So I'm watching it, and you know how they go back in time, like you're seeing current events,
Mhm.
and then they go 5 years earlier.
Right.
Well, in this episode, they kept going back in the day. I'm like, what? So it wasn't 5 years earlier, 3 years earlier, 6 months. It was back in, and they did it several times. Back in the day. I'm like, I have to keep pointing. I'm like, look, honey, I just kept pointing it out to my wife. Is that not hilarious?
They're trying to be hip.
Trying to be hip.
Trying
I'm
to be
like,
hip
it just
with the
seems
kids.
so when you get to that episode, you're like, yeah, Gray told me about that. But I just thought it was hilarious. I liked it. I thought it was good, but it was just kind of silly at the same time.
Yeah.
Back in it multiple times, not just once for effect, multiple times back in the day. So back in the day. Yep, that was a kind of a pointless segue, but I did want to laugh about that with you because I just thought it was so funny. In any case, we're still going through the Ghost Rider episodes with that.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm actually liking the Ghost Rider so far.
Yeah,
I'm only a
I
few
don't know
in,
that
though.
it started off strong, but I think it's the middle and towards the end it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So it was kind of I don't know if I was sold on it originally. I did have to totally remove Westworld from my DVR
Oh,
after
haven't watched
I
it yet.
read some. It was going the route of pornographic content, so it's gone. It's gone. I got grandkids. What if they pull up something like that? And some of the stuff has nothing to do with the subject matter. It's just, hey,
Right.
let's throw some porn in there. So,
Oh yeah.
yep, all
Yeah,
the people
good for that.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. Matter of fact, we just called up and canceled. I talked to my wife. We're like, we really don't watch anything on that channel. We got like the 6 months free thing, and yeah, so we just canceled them. Canceled HBO. But in any case, so I see you have a news story here talking about the Nintendo Switch. You want to talk about that?
A little bit of a rumor, possibly, maybe. So the Switch price may have been accidentally released from Canada, or Toys R Us of Canada, of all places. I guess it was briefly listed on their website, and for Canada, it would be $329. And I have no idea what that dollar amount is. It's CAD. Sorry, Canada, if there's any listeners out there or watchers, which would be roughly £200 in the UK and $250 here in the US, and then $330 in I believe that's Australia, maybe that last one, AUD.
Yeah, that sounds low.
Yeah, I mean that's the price of. I think they said that's the price of the Wii when it had released, and that's pretty surprising for the technology that it's it should have in it. They obviously still haven't released, and obviously that's not official from Nintendo. They don't comment on rumors and speculation. That's pretty much the standard for every company when something like this comes out. But they actually have a picture. This is from IGN, and they have the picture of the listing on there with the amount and everything. But I don't know, 250. that just got me wondering now. I mean, how could they, obviously with the Wii U, they weren't making any money. The Wii, they did. With every console they sold, they made money. But I can't see them making any money with 250 with the technology that, supposedly is in this console. I don't know. What do you think?
The only way I could see them doing that, and this is probably totally not correct, but a handheld by itself, not having to produce more than 800 by 600 or 640 by 480 or 1020 or 720p maybe. If it was just the handheld itself with the charger, I could definitely see that being the price. Definitely would work. I think if they were going to do any HD stuff, that technology would have to be built into the stand.
Yeah.
And then I could see the stand going for another, $99 and maybe, doing 4K streaming and doing, upscaling all the games to 1080p maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, 250 just seems
really low.
Yeah, for a portable. Now the Xbox, they're selling Xbox One S's all day, every day for, 250.
Yeah.
So maybe you take out the Blu-ray player and the hard drive. What does that bring the price of that thing down to? And then
Could that mean there's no internal storage then, or very little?
Yeah,
They really haven't talked about it.
The ability to expand it with SD. I think you have the ability to expand it with SD, right?
Oh yeah, there's an SD card, yeah.
And because the games come on cards, right? What memory do you need?
That's true. You don't need that big bulky disk drive, so that's not in there.
No, you could probably put 16 in there, and that would be just enough for all your game saves.
Yeah.
Maybe give a choice of saving the game to the card or to the cartridge, internal or external.
Yeah, you had mentioned about the resolution. There was another rumor actually I saw a few weeks ago. Actually, I think right after it had been announced, maybe like a week after, that it probably is going to be just 720 the screen on the system itself. So, I mean, to me, that's fine with me. I don't really care. But
listen, a 720 screen at 50 inches looks pretty dang good. Sometimes it's hard to tell if a TV's in 720 and not 1080.
Yeah.
If it picks up the wrong setting by accident. So if 720 on a 50-inch screen is good, then on a small little screen in your pocket, that's pretty excellent. And I know people will turn to the cell phones, but a lot of these cell phones that have these super high dense displays, first of all, you never make use of the density of those graphics typically in your daily life. But part two is those phones typically go for $600 to $800. If you ever try to buy one without a plan, it's pretty outrageously priced. So
yeah, it's really expensive.
I think 720 in the palm of my hand would be fine, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I know they had mentioned officially that the base where you dock it into, that's not going to do anything, at least for now. Maybe that'll change in the future. But then another thing I was going to say, I forgot. I lost on my train of thought. Oh, do you think it could just be the handheld and maybe the controller or the whatever they call it, the Joy-Cons? Excuse me. And then they sell the dock separately. Could that be a possibility?
Well, at 250, I'm thinking that has to be it, but I could be totally wrong. But I'm thinking it's the two what did you call them? Joy-Cons on the side.
Yeah, that's what they're calling
it. I think that's the 250, and that would make sense because a large percentage of the people who buy that will be buying it for mobile only.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to hook it up. Why include the base when a large percentage of the buyers won't use it?
Yeah. I guess that makes sense too. I just hope, it'll probably be like another $40-$50 though for the base, maybe less, because all it does is it's just an output to the TV and it just charges the device itself. So it might make sense.
Yeah.
Not really doing much else.
I know everybody said that, but it just seems like a waste. Why is the base is literally twice as thick as the unit itself? So why is it so big? Does it have a rapid charger in it? Does it? I just don't get it.
Yeah. Those rapid chargers always scare me. Like my phone could do it, and I never use it because I'm just afraid it's going to burn my battery out like that. So I hope not.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
I know it's nice.
They kept telling you could not take a Galaxy Note 7 on the plane. We heard that on every flight, before we get on, after we get on, when you bought your tickets. Everywhere. Printed out your boarding pass. So that's what we call rapid discharge.
That's right.
Actually, my son has one of those phones and he loves it. Has no problems with it blowing up, but apparently, if enough happen, they pull it from the market.
Oh yeah, yep. So yep, that was all the news I found. I really kind of, like I said, in the past weeks it's been kind of slow since the holidays coming up.
Yeah, it is, and we really don't. I'm looking at some of our old topics of the week that we never got to. And do you see anything in there you want to tackle?
Let me see. Let me jump down there real quick.
Scroll down, a couple
Yeah.
pages. But yeah, we had so much news over some of the recent episodes that we weren't able to get to some of these topics of the week. And I'm just looking at them too. If you want to pick one.
Yeah, how about and I know these are kind of Zeus's things, but we'll kind of touch on it maybe.
Well, in the Bizarro alternate version of this podcast, he may have talked about it.
That's true.
Right?
So we can get our thoughts on it. And,
we could be talking
together
about it with him.
That's right.
Other episode, what did I say? 64.
64, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, him and DB may have already talked about this, so
yeah, we
could be in line.
We can throw our thoughts in there. That's cool. But he was talking about the gaming hardware and software for this, for the fall. Well, it's fall now because that was from actually like a month ago, I think. Kind of got pushed back because of the Switch and all that. So, but just with the new capabilities of these new machines, I guess more so for PS4 Pro, since it's a little beefier than just the S. It's got a little bit more stuff going on there. And the software file sizes, that was kind of interesting. That I kind of want to talk about how these games are so huge now. And I think Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, it was 130 gigs, but that was with the remaster of Modern Warfare. So that was a little bit, that was a little rare case there because it had an extra game tacked on. But just to download that whole thing, I mean, that was 130 gigs. And I have Comcast currently right now, and we actually just now, I think within like a week or two, we actually got a cap of a terabyte. So, and I was looking through the back of my last few months of my usage, and I was like, I think August like 300 gigs, and then the September and October I was 400 or 500. I think that was because that's when the games were coming out, so I was downloading a lot. I was downloading a lot of games, and but I was still well under a terabyte. So I don't know. Do you think like it's going to get worse? Obviously, it's probably going to get worse, especially once we get once the PS Pro gets going more, because actually it can handle a lot more. And we get the Scorpio next year, next year. A scoop next week, next year, next holiday, most likely holiday.
Wait, we're non-disclosure. We're not supposed to tell anybody about that.
That's right. Sorry, Microsoft, it slipped.
Yep. And now we have to pull the whole show. This is live now.
That's true. Someone could be recording this right now.
Are those sirens? I think outside. Look outside your window. I thought I saw.
I see some blue out there. So.
I think you're absolutely right. They're going to have to get bigger because, you're going from 1080p to 4K. Your textures. I mean, that's it, right? Well, the models. I think what you'll probably see more detail put into is the textures at first. I think the modeling. For as long as I can remember, games have had different textures for different resolutions, all right? And not only for different resolutions, for different distances. So the closer you get to an object, you'd get a higher res texture. And some of that can be seen in pop-in, some of that can be seen in, those type of effects when you're playing a game. And, and some of these games actually dynamically change their resolution on the fly, which is interesting. But I think that the first place we'll see this is in texture size. And that's why games like Skyrim, there was a high-res texture pack available for it.
For the PC, yeah.
For the PC, right?
Yeah.
And although, if a game is suitably old enough, the models do need to be updated. But most of these games are like very new. And if they're already... See, and that's the thing. If they're already running on the PC, and I actually think maybe one of the Microsoft guys was listening to our show, because I won't mention any names, but I finally read an interview with him where he brought the whole thing up. Like, hey, the people making games for the Xbox are also, in most cases, making them for the PC, and they're already dealing with a range of minimum, recommended and super high performance. Gorgeous, turn everything on. Beautiful. And
Ultra.
so ultra
Ultra
settings.
settings.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to have this joke when we played NASCAR, the original NASCAR game for the PC, which was by,
Oh
I
boy.
can't reach it, by Papyrus. Great game, but it had this effect, the asphalt effect. Now, this was a beautiful game, and you could turn on all kinds of effects, and I had one of the best rewinds I've ever seen in a game. So you get in a crash with your buddies, right? Like we would do when we were on business trips, connecting our computers together with the serial cables and whatnot. And before computers had Ethernet, Ethernet ports built into them, most of them had modems. And when you crashed, parts of your car were flying all over the place, but you could actually rewind it and see the hood flip back and land back on your car. It was wicked cool. But there was this one setting, it was called asphalt, or asphalt details or asphalt texture. And as soon as you turned that on, unless you had a Cray supercomputer, your computer would ground to a halt.
Mm.
And that was a joke my friends and I used to always say that someday we're going to get a Cray computer so we can run the asphalt texture on a NASCAR game. But but games have always been like that. They've had the features you can turn on and off, and for PC users, and with the consoles, they can definitely make the console do much more because it's a single platform with 50 million of them out there. So they can put a lot more time into optimizing it versus 100 cards from NVIDIA, 100 cards from AMD. AMD process. There's so many different combinations.
Right.
It's harder for them to really wring the extra performance out of them. Now, that said, I think it was good to hear Microsoft talk about that and say, look, we don't think this is going to put a burden on our game manufacturers because they already do this on the PC. So there's going to be no problem having the Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Scorpio, and PS4 Pro. It's just not going to be a major issue. They probably already have all the assets done because they're doing 4K on the PC.
Yeah.
So, but I do agree the size of the files are going to get bigger. 60 gig was a lot of games were in the 60 gig size. Last time I was looking at the sizes, so yeah, I expect it to be 100 gig or more.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Do you think for when the Scorpio comes out, when they finally release it, that they'll have I don't want to say this, like more, I guess more than one SKU, like different sizes, at least for the hard drive? Or do you think it'll just be like the one, okay, here's a terabyte or 2 terabyte, however much it is at that point? I mean, you probably almost need a 2 terabyte drive, at least minimum, because you're doing 4K stuff.
Yeah, I mean, 2 terabyte drives are inexpensive. And I think, if I was Microsoft, I'd probably put their OS on an internal SSD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like put a 128 or 250, 250 SSD internal. Just solder it to the board for the OS. Make it bigger than they'll ever need it to be. But and then make the hard drive replaceable.
Yeah.
Sell it. I think 2 terabyte would be the great starting point for it. It's going to be a premium platform, so I'll pay $50 extra for the 2 terabyte. But I would make it replaceable. I mean, if this is going to be the rest of the generation, then the hard drive should be field replaceable. They got a pretty good deal going with the whole USB storage. That works out well in most cases. So that's not a hard. That's what I do. I have a 2 terabyte external. I think I picked it up $80. It doesn't require power. It gets power right from the Xbox, and it seems to work great. And I put all the games on that all my must-play games are internal, and the archive of games that I touch only once in a while go on the external. So if I do take the Xbox to the campground, which camping season is over, but when I was doing that, I just left the hard drive here. There was no reason I was going to play Elite, or I was going to play Destiny, or I was going to play the Division, or one of my main games. I didn't need to bring Battlefield 4 or Battlefield Hotline or some of those other games with me.
Right.
But yeah, I think the file sizes will be going up.
Yeah, actually, I never had a problem with the external until I actually started playing Elite Dangerous, and then I was getting those, when I first started, I was getting all those disconnects. I kept getting bumped out. And as soon as I had it on the external hard drive. Then eventually I moved it back to the Xbox internal, and then I haven't had a problem since then. So I don't know, for that game at least, excuse me, for that game at least, I had a problem. I don't know why. It was weird.
As much as I like Elite Dangerous, which I really do, and I don't know what the issue is, but when it tries to pull up some of the maps, it's very hard drive intensive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of discussion on the company forums about that. Watch it. There also are some undesirables up there too. But bottom line is it's very hard drive intensive, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, they're just little dots. Yeah, you would figure. I mean, yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot. There's a galaxy of information, but they're just little dots, and it's a lot of text. So I don't. It's not like it's a 3D rendering of each planet that's popping up. So it's kind of weird.
I really think it's the backing data that goes behind that. They actually pull in a lot of trade data and other information that you can turn on.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I'd rather, I don't use that very much. So I'd rather just get the map quickly. And then when I click on trade data, give me a 2 or 3 second, spinner. Let that load by itself.
Yeah.
But, I enjoy the game. It has a great legacy, but at some point, the, popping in and out of some of the menus does get old. And, at some point it's just like, yeah, I think I'm just going to shut it off, then wait for the menu. Sometimes the menu can take 10, 15 seconds. At some point, you're just like, yeah, I think I'm going to just shut it off.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not going to wait for this menu. It's kind of like, but, yeah. So other thoughts on the, did you read that story about the PS4 Pro having performance issues with some of the new games?
I didn't read the full article, but I did see a few headlines where they're like, here's how to, maximize your PS4 performance. But unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to read the article, so I don't know if you did.
Yeah, I mean, there apparently some of the PS4 games, they were tweaked very well to give you maximum performance. And in the rush to get out upgraded versions of those games on the PS4 Pro, you'll actually have lower. They add so much detail, or so many more features that you will actually lose frame rate. And some of the games don't even give you the option to say, "Look, I just want to play it with the high frame rate that I had on my PS4. I don't care about having the higher resolution. I want frame rate." So some of the games have some spots that are hard to play because the frame rate dips so much. And I personally just think it's going to be a something I'll be able to fix in a patch pretty quickly.
Right.
But it does show that somewhere in Sony, Sony and both Sony and Microsoft are great for testing these games and making sure they work well. And somewhere in that PS4 Pro upgrade path, some of these games are not being tested 100%. If you cannot turn off the PS4 Pro features and have real choppy 20 frames per second frame rates in some of your games, you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have to have a worse experience just because you bought a system that has twice as much horsepower, right? So they got some work to do there. Some of the game companies have some work to do there to make sure that people buying the new console get as good or better experience than the PS4 people.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, you know what, you want that better since you're paying that much more money. Excuse me. So yeah, that kind of stinks. But I guess they were just trying to rush it out like that. So
yeah, I think it's growing pains, and many companies today suffer from the fact that they just want to produce, and no matter what quality, without doing your quality checks, and it's like they just want to produce stuff. Their goal is to get stuff off the shelf and out the door, and not actually ensure that there's no bugs in it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's a sign of the times. We're just in a period where getting stuff off the shelves is worth more than actually doing it right.
Yeah,
what I like to call doing it right.
They'll fix it later. That's fine.
Yeah, when you're a multi-billion-dollar company, could you please just do it right the first time?
So do you think? I'm gonna bring it back to Nintendo here for a second.
Yeah, please.
So do you think that that could be possibly the reason that there was such a low demand on the or low supply on the NES Classic. That they just wanted to rush it out there, and they just got whatever supplies they had and just to throw it out there for in the meantime.
Yeah. Very, very, it could be, definitely could be that they had manufacturing issues and they just didn't get as many to market as they wanted. It could be that. I almost think it's like, let's make a small run and see if people want it, and then we'll make some more. If they have a scalable production line, that especially for a company coming off the success of the Wii, the overwhelming success of the Wii, and then the reverse happens with the Wii U. I think financially they may want to be a little bit safer with things. Say,
Yeah. A little gun shy.
yeah, I wouldn't blame them if they were. I mean, as long as they get supplies up for Christmas, if they can scale that production line to get supplies up for the holidays, I don't want them to have extras on the shelf lying around for years.
Yeah.
We've all seen that happen too. That would be horrible. But they have a hit on their hands. I'd like to see them capitalize on it, and it's great to see all these people having great memories from their NES. I own a couple of NESs, so and with the really short cable, I'm not going to jump on it. I've pretty much can find any NES game I want really cheap, 99 cents or 1.99. So, I mean, it'd be cool to have the new one, but I'm not going to pay $1,000 for it.
Yeah, I was talking with coworkers today, actually this morning. We were talking about it. Just nobody got one. They wanted one, but the one guy was making a good point that he almost thought that this is something that you plug into your PC and just play on a monitor because the cords are so short for the controller at least. It just didn't make any sense. So I mean, that could have been a reason. And I know I also heard like days before, that week before, that like pre-orders from, not in the US, because I don't think there was ever any pre-orders in the US, but in other countries I guess there was pre-orders, and they were actually just canceling those pre-orders. So I don't know what happened there. Just demand got them, I guess, or something, or sometimes the retailers might just throw up the pre-order page up there and say, hey, let's pre-order this, and Nintendo just wasn't ready for it, I guess. So
well, I hope they're able to make enough to sell it to everybody who wants one. It'd be a nice little win for Nintendo, and hopefully they're making some good money on this. And I think one of the reasons the cord is so short is because you have to use the button on the console to do some of the things. Apparently, you can't use the buttons on the controller to do everything you need to do. With the original NES, you never had to touch unless you had to reset it, unless it died on you or locked up on you. You had to reset it, or if you had to turn it off. But I think there's a button. I think I don't know if it's the select button or one of the buttons is on the console itself that you have to hit in order to interact with it. I don't know if it's to get back out of the game to the main menu.
Right.
But that said, you can get extension cables. I saw them; they're all sold out, just like the console itself.
Of course.
But you can get extension cables for as inexpensive as $10. And I actually saw some people making wireless controllers for it.
Yeah, I think Nyko had some wireless controllers. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that invested into it to go wireless, but why not? Why not?
Yeah, that'd be easier.
Well, I don't know. Prime, we got anything else to talk about? Hey, I did see. Did you see any new movies?
No, not since the last time. I wanted to go see Doctor Strange. I know you got to see Doctor Strange, but I haven't been able to see it yet. So, unfortunately, I really want to see it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. My daughter was thinking about taking the grandkids to see it. I think they're a little too young. I mean, it's definitely earned its PG rating. It's definitely not an R-rated, but for 6, 7-year-olds, some of the stuff that happens, some of the language is kind of like, eh. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely a movie you may want to see more than once because there's a lot happening and it goes really fast, and in some ways reminded me of Inception a little bit.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it stood on its own. Even though there's my son was pointing. I went with my son who just turned 20, my youngest, and he's pointing out all the Easter eggs and whatnot, and tying it into the whole Marvel universe. And there's a couple of lines in the movie where they tie it in, but overall it's standalone. It was very standalone, and
that's good.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing The Arrival. My daughter, my second child. My daughter Mary went to see that, and she loved it. And I love sci-fi. I'm reading sci-fi. I think I've read 5 books in the last week, sci-fi books. That's my
Oh,
thing before going to bed at night. Pull up the iPad, and they're not very long books.
oh,
They're I don't know how many pages. It's hard to tell when you're on a tablet how many pages
yeah.
it is. But this is all part of the Amazon Kindle Unlimited. So,
Oh, okay.
um, but yeah, she said it's getting some great reviews too. I thought it would be a kind of a, you know, B-rated movie, but it's getting some great reviews. So I want
Yeah.
to see that too. Anything you want to see here this month?
Yeah, other than Doctor Strange, Arrival, I did want to see too. I never even heard of it before until I started showing previews for it. So I was just like, oh, what's this? That's cool. Um, Kind of reminded me of a sci-fi channel of all places movie back in the day. It was called Epoch. That's kind of the
Yes.
same thing. Did you see that one? It
Yep.
was pretty good. I think there was 2 of them. I don't remember if I saw the second movie, but I know the first one I saw, and it was actually really good. It's big obelisk things just start appearing, and they're trying to figure it out. So that's the first vibe I got out of it when I first saw all the trailers and stuff.
Yeah, I think I didn't see the whole thing. I saw a good part of it, the first one. And I don't understand why the Sci-Fi Channel doesn't go get some of these great sci-fi authors to write, you know, the right shows for them, because a lot of this material could be made into shows very easily, like a Stargate, or like a some of these, The Expanse, or
Yeah.
Dark Matter, or some of these sci-fi writers. I think I follow like 20 or 30 of them, who have series of 20 or 30 series, and some of the stuff is excellent. The one I'm just started reading today is based on the Atlas series, and it really makes you think Titanfall. I mean, the Atlas mech is almost identical to, at least in my mind, to the Titanfall, even with the AI and all that.
Yeah.
Um,
That was
well, with
another
that,
game.
man, go
That
ahead.
was another game I kind of played a little bit of, was Titanfall 2, which I'm really enjoying getting into that. So at least the multiplayer. I haven't touched the campaign yet, but going through there, and just I got a couple clips too of that I've recorded. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. Although I got to say, and I just kind of noticed this the last few times I played, the Titans actually look a little bit smaller. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if you've played it or not yet, but because like when you jump into Titan, it usually like grabs you and puts it in its chest. It just seems like the Titans are like kind of smaller, even though the big bulkier ones just seem like they're a little bit more compact. So I don't know, might just be aesthetic thing. So
Yeah, that's on my if I can find it for $30, that's on my my Black Friday list. Titanfall 2, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Battlefield 1, Forza Horizons 3,
yeah,
and
I think I saw it for 35 on one of the Black Friday deals. I can't remember which one.
yes, yep.
Yeah, so already
If I
discounted
saw it
it.
as low as $33, I think it was at BJ's.
Hmm.
But yeah, and that almost 50% off. I didn't think any of the new games would be that low, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Speaking of Titanfall,
yeah,
let me tangent that one.
yeah, please.
So obviously, well, I've seen reports where it hasn't been doing the best as far as sales, and I still think released right after Battlefield 1 and right before Call of Duty. I just don't. I just boggles my mind that they want to release it at that in between those two. And yeah, they're different. All 3 of them are different shooters, in their own right, but still they're shooters, and most people are gonna pick up multiple ones, if not all of them. Like I did, I picked up all of them. But and a lot of people don't do that. They'll just say, "Oh, I'm just going to pick one game this season. It's going to be it." So they're probably going to go with more comfortable, Call of Duty, Battlefield, even Gears of War was about a month or two before that. But still, I don't get that release window. I don't understand it.
I don't either. I mean, what would be the problem of releasing it like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
That would be, you would definitely get a lot of people running out there trying to get it. Yeah, I think it was unfortunate the way we released it. It does look phenomenal. If I pick up Call of Duty or Titanfall 2, it'll be for the single player, because I just don't see me spending a lot of time in the competitive multiplayer side of it. But some things to look out for. We already talked about Rainbow Six Siege. There's a Battlefront complete collection that's coming out for $40. So if you can find that Battlefront complete collection, for under $40 for 30 or 20, definitely a better deal than just buying the original game on sale. Because the complete collection has all the expansions. So that's another one to keep a lookout on.
Did the last
And
expansion come out for that already? Was it the Death Star, I think?
I think it was, and that's why I
Yeah.
think they came out with the complete collection. Um, I I love the game. I wish I would have played it more. Yeah,
Yeah.
just not having the time for that. But a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thing when I bought it like months later, and I'm just getting wrecked in the game just because I'm so far behind, you know. But it's still fun. I'll have to try to jump back into it one day.
Yeah, they added private matches. They added so much stuff to that after the fact that I think would have been helpful to have in when it launched.
Yeah, like the original Titanfall. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
Adding stuff
yeah.
into it.
And I love the Frontier Defense, which I think was one of the most played. Towards the end, there was the most played mode online.
Yeah.
So don't discount co-op. People love it. 4-player co-op is definitely a thing to have in your game to drive sales and playability. I think that's it for this week. Get any final thoughts?
Oh, nothing right now. I'm just well, I'm not looking for anything as far as these Friday deals, but if I see something that pops up, maybe. I know they just released, well, not released, but we're talking about Xbox Live having the Xbox Live store having their sales too coming up for that weekend, Thanksgiving Day weekend. So they didn't release any details, but that's going to be coming up, and it's just for those 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So look out for that. I'm always good
Yeah, I'll
for
be
a
checking that
digital.
first. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
rather have the digital too.
yeah. So they usually have something decent. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Excellent. So a couple announcements over at CAG. Of course, on the Xbox One, we now have clubs, and we have several clubs. We have for the casual adult gamers, our official club is not casual adult gamers. Somebody who had the preview edition had chose that. They got like 3 people in their club. That is not our club. Our club has a cooler name. Our club is the Space CAG, the CAG. Of course, our short link is thecag.ws. So if you want to join the Casual Adult Gamers club on Xbox One, it's the Space CAG. And there's some others, though. We have, as always, the awesome Fire Team Canuck, which I also joined. I'm sure
Hi.
that is, I know Andre's running that, Wonder Boy, but I'm sure Bobo's right there with him because there are 2 Canucks, or 2 top Canucks, 2 4-star generals of Fire Team Canuck, fearless leaders. And then our good friend Bullet created an awesome club for Elite. So if you're playing Elite on the Xbox, please feel free to join Elite Space CMDRS. So Elite Commanders, and that's an Elite. If you know, they always shorten Commanders with CMDR. So, and then there's an S at the end of it. So Elite Commanders, and that's our very own SA Bullet, who's our fearless leader. I've learned so much from him in the game,
Yes.
and he's always there to help people. And
Wealth of knowledge.
matter of fact, I couldn't play last night because I was babysitting, but I know him and Spyro were helping Macebite. Happy birthday, Macebite. We're
Oh,
helping Macebite get his Viper 4 tricked out so he could go to the high res zone and take out some baddies. So,
nice.
that's the type of group of guys we game with. So, if you have Elite and you're looking for people to game with, come visit us. It's a fun game. I know it has its little things like every game does, but it's fun. And people like Wonder Boy and Bullet and Spiral, those guys are great at helping people like me and Osiris and Mace learn how to play.
Still learning. Always learning when I go in that game.
There's a lot to learn.
There is.
I'm finally just getting good at landing on planets. So,
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. A little bit tricky.
yeah, to do it quickly is
Yeah.
tricky. But with that, we're going to thank everybody for listening or watching. If we do find the other episode 64, we will definitely post it right next to this one. But for tonight's show, that's it. On behalf of Osiris Prime and myself, Greylock3491, I want to thank you for watching or listening. Until the next time we talk, peace.